Hey nerds, Conan the Librarian here. I was tagged by Sci-Fi Bookery. I've got his video open on the other screen. Yeah, he tagged me in a book tag to do a hobby tag, and I don't usually do tags. In fact, I can't even remember the last time I did a tag video. Used to do them for video games and just like YouTube tag videos, just random videos back in the day. And I just got jack of him. I was never really a fan anyway. I just did it because I did, and everybody else was doing them. But this one in particular, was a little bit interested in. So I thought I'd at least do it because I'm sort of rebranding my YouTube channel into being like a BookTube. So yeah, I just thought I'd do it. It's probably going to be the only one I do for a very long time, but Sci-Fi Booker is a good dude as well, so he's got a brand new channel out for his science fiction books, and so I will link that in the description box down below. He's a really cool dude. He picks up awesome books. Very, very jealous of his books that he picks up. Has a really nice beard as well, so there's that. Yeah, so it's a few questions, and I've got his video up because I don't actually have a list of the questions anywhere, so you're probably going to hear his voice in this video because I need to hear the questions to see how I'm going to answer it. So here we go. First question is, maybe if I hit that video down, play. Within your personal library, do you collect books based on ? So I'm just going to answer that how I think it needs to be answered. In my personal library, do I collect... So I guess, do I collect any specific types of books? No. Definitely not. I do have specific collections. So I do have a Star Wars book collection that I am trying to get as many, if not all, of the Star Wars books. I do have a Star Trek collection now, which I've just started. Really, really enjoying the covers of these books, and I will be reading a lot of the original series. Probably not so much the like next gen and stuff like that because it's just too many. But certainly the original Star Trek series, I'm quite enjoying the TV series. So which is a first time watch for me. I will basically buy anything that either looks good on the cover, and then I don't want to be spoiled, so I won't read the blurb. Or I've read a little pull quote or the blurb, and I'm like, yep, this sounds interesting. It's coming home from my library. Or if it's cheap enough, especially if I buy big lots, or if it's like at an op shop, 50 cents or $1 each. So I will definitely just add them to my library for that reason. As for collections, aside from the Star Wars collection and now Star Trek collection, I am trying to get lots of little vintage paperbacks in the science fiction genre. Occasionally I might pick up a horror one, but it's really all about the science fiction genre at the moment. I'm loving the covers, mainly for the cover art, and eventually I'll read them. But I'm enjoying the artwork of those covers. Some fantasy ones as well. I'm just trying to think back what I've actually got. I don't really have... Wizard's First Rule by Terry Goodkind, any of that sort of truth series. I am trying to get as many of those, perhaps different covers as well. Maybe some hardcovers and some first edition hardcovers. I've got a lot of first edition paperbacks. I have the entire 14 set book set in either hardcover or trade paperback. But he's probably my favorite author, or definitely my top 3 favorite authors. So I was trying to get, especially now that he's passed away. Unfortunately, I only found out last year that he passed away. And so I am trying to get as many different versions of the books to put in a collection because I have a big love for his books for many reasons. So I guess that's a collection. And then I guess you could say Matthew Riley as well, Australian author, mainly does action stuff, but he does branch out and do sort of adventure, action, a little bit of sci-fi, a bit of superhero stuff, and a little bit of fantasy, I guess. With Troll Mountain, I suppose that's fantasy. But yeah, I buy all his books. I've got a nice Matthew Riley collection. But yeah, essentially there's no real rhyme or reason to why I buy or what I buy. It's just what I think would look good, or it's cheap enough, or it sounds good, or it has great artwork. That sort of stuff. Question number 2. What are some non-bookish hobbies that you have? I really chop and change all the time. I always come up with something new. Like probably most recently, I can't even really think. But I used to play like card games a lot, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. I was huge into Magic the Gathering from around about base set 7. And I was like Torment, Onslaught, and I can't think of the other one. Torment, Onslaught, and I can't think of it. But there was like your main set and then a couple of expansions. I did that for a few years. Then when Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out, I was really big into my Yu-Gi-Oh! Card playing. I used to play in tournaments of Yu-Gi-Oh! I won a few tournaments down in Melbourne, Victoria, where I'm from originally. Granted, they were against like a bunch of 6-7-year-olds. And I would have been, I don't know, 22, 23 maybe. And I smashed them. I beat them good. Then I retired after a couple of big wins because I lost to a 6-year-old. And that was when it started to get more and more popular, and then more and more people were getting involved in these tournaments, and I was just getting absolutely hammered. So I was like, nah, I'll retire on a high. Well, semi anyway. But it was good fun. I still collect the cards, and I still play some of the games on the computer and on the phone and stuff like that. I would like to play more against other people in real life, but I feel the game has gotten away from me too much. Really don't enjoy a lot of the newer summons that you've got to do, and I just don't like all the new rules and stuff like that. So I mean, if anybody's out there wants to play classic Yu-Gi-Oh! With all you get is like ritual monsters and fucking fusions and maybe some synchros, but aside from that, I just still like the cards. I still build decks. Like I've got about maybe 10 decks on the go that I'm building, probably more, with so many different deck ideas. I'd love to just, because if you go to tournaments and stuff like that, everybody plays the same stuff. It's all, and it's just boring. So I just want to play for shits and gigs. Gym. Going to the gym and working out, that was a huge hobby, huge passion of mine. It still is. I just haven't been for so long. I've lost a lot of weight doing the job that I was doing last year. It was very cardio based job, and by the end of the day I was just so exhausted, and I just rarely had the energy to go to the gym. So I haven't been to the gym for the past probably 3-4 months. I've lost about 14 kilos of size and strength and muscle. Probably lost more in strength, but about 14 kilos I've lost, and really need to get back into it. But when I'm in the zone, I'll go every day for 2-3 hours, 7 days a week, with a rest day here and there, just when I know my body's like, nah, you need a rest. But I get obsessed with it. It's really, it's healthy, but it's unhealthy at the same time. But I love the gym so much. I originally started about probably 7 years ago for mental health reasons, and from personal experience, it is the best thing that I've ever found for mental health is just going to the gym. I went by myself at the start, and then my friend of mine's boyfriend took me, and he trained me, and it was so amazing. And from there, it just my love for it just exploded. I've now recently got my Cert 3, Certificate 3 in fitness. I really need to start my Cert 4. I've paid for it. I need to do it, but I do have the opportunity to start that very, very soon, so I can be a personal trainer if I wanted to. I'd love to, but it's something that I can look at in the future. Hobby, I used to collect movies. Big movie collector. I had over a couple thousand. At my biggest collection was well over 2,000 movies or sets or pieces of the collection. I had to sell a lot of that stuff when COVID hit because work was very, very scarce. Lost my job 3 times, like a different job 3 times because of it. So I didn't really have any money coming in. So I unfortunately had to sell a lot. So in fact, I sold about 95% of my collection, which was good in a way because I made some money on some stuff. I got to pay rent, so that was good. But in that movie collection was, a lot of anime, a lot of Asian inspired films, like a lot of Eastern kung fu movies and Asian horror films, and really big fan of Eastern films from a young age, especially like kung fu movies and science fiction films. Hadn't really got into horror until I started collecting recently in the past 5 years, and I was able to get a lot of horror collections and watch a lot of horror movies that I'd never seen before from growing up. So that was great. So that was a good hobby for a while. Mainly did that during the first lockdown that we had here in my state of Victoria a few years ago. So I was able to collect and buy and sell and stuff like that. So yeah, that was fun. Used to video game a lot. That was another big hobby. Used to game a lot. Just all the nerdy stuff that I used to do that I don't really do much anymore. So you just sort of chop and change. Sometimes I might find a game and then I'll play the game for 10 hours a day for a few days, and then I get my fix and then I go back to reading. So reading's a constant, and buying books, collecting books. That's the constant hobby in my life, and that has been since, I want to say, the early 90s, probably late 80s. If I was born in 84, so wasn't much really to do aside from reading books. So yeah. Question 3 is, what are some hobbies you've fallen out of and why? So I guess I sort of answered that in the previous question as well, so I'll just quickly recap. Gym, massive hobby, passion for me for a good 6-7 years. Just fell out because of work. I've just moved to a new area, so I'm still looking to find a gym. Finding a gym is very important to me. It has to be a particular sort of gym. I've got to feel comfortable there. Weirdly enough, it's got to have the right smell. It's got to have the right feel. It's got to have the right sound. I guess gym goers will probably know what I'm talking about, but you can't just go to any old gym. I mean, you can to work out, but you can't to stay there for a long term. So I do have a couple that I'm going to go check out in the next few days and see if they're suitable for my requirements. Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I kept getting smashed by young kids, so that was and then they just kept introducing too many new particular summons, so I just stopped playing. Professionally, still dabble here and there. Collecting movies, because I collect books, I just can't have movies anymore. There are too many streaming services out there that I can get access to, and I pay for streaming services, so I can get my fill of movies if I want. I still go to the cinema and see the AAA titles that I want to see, big blockbuster action movies and stuff like that, and your superhero films and anything sci-fi. So I still go to the cinema. I love going to the cinema. It's a great experience. But I'm just not going to buy things anymore, like buy movies anymore. There are still the occasional ones that I will, but aside from, one or two here and there, it's just all books now. I don't really think I had any other hobbies. As I said, nerdy hobbies, but they come and they go for various reasons. Question 4. Do you regret dropping any of those hobbies? Absolutely. I guess it's answered in the previous question as well. I would definitely regret dropping my gym hobby, especially since I lost size. I've lost a lot of size, a lot of strength. I was very solid, 110 kilos. Very muscly, very strong. I missed that strength. I was able to, and it's not a flex, but I was bench pressing 120 kilos for reps, very easy. It's bicep curls, 25 kilos, dumbbells. I put 45, 50 kilo dumbbells in each hand, and I'd incline press. I'd shoulder press 40 kilos in a dumbbell with dumbbells, and with ease, for reps. And I loved that, how strong I felt. And it being nearly 40 years old, I'm starting to ache in my shoulders and my knees, and so I need to strengthen them back up, especially my shoulders. I need to strengthen them back up so that they don't ache as much. I know it's a lack of strength ache. So I need to, I just miss it. I miss going to the gym. So hopefully going to rectify that very soon, because it's definitely probably the biggest one that I miss doing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, as I said, I don't regret dropping it. I just miss playing against other players, like the classic style. I used to play with my friends all the time. Magic the Gathering, I don't regret dropping it, but I do miss playing against my friends. I had one of the best summers of my life just when, oh shit, I would have been maybe 22 or something like that, or even earlier or younger, I'm not sure. It was probably was younger, probably 21. But I spent a whole summer at my mate's place that lived, he lived like 5 hours away. I went there, stayed with him and his family. All his mates became my mates because I never met them, his mates before. We just drank, sometimes smoked, ate noodles, and just played Magic the Gathering for a whole summer. And it was just one of the best summers of my life. So I don't really regret dropping that hobby, but I just miss having those moments. So, I definitely don't regret getting out of the movie collecting business, because if with all the books that I've got, I've got 3,000 plus books, I cannot have a movie collection as well. Certainly not to the extent that I used to have. Another question, 5, I think, maybe 4. I've lost track already. What hobbies do you wish you had? None. I don't think there's any. I mean, maybe a musical instrument. I wish I had have maybe done something in high school, from year 7, so about 97 onwards. And if I had started an instrument then, perhaps I could be semi decent now. I probably, you could start now, but I can't be bothered. As I said before, I'm incredibly lazy. That's why I don't usually do these tag videos. But yeah, I think an instrument would be good, or even learning another language. I guess you count that as a hobby if you're just doing it for fun. I would love to learn another language now. I don't really care what sort of language, but yeah, I guess those two probably the only things that I wish I had, but very easily fixed. I could have them, but I'm not gonna. Can't be bothered. I think that's it. I think that's the only 5 questions or 4 questions. Sorry if I rambled on, and thanks Sci-Fi Bookery for tagging me. Don't do it again. No, look, I just incredibly lazy. I probably won't do any more tags. I'm not going to tag anybody because I don't care. But thanks for watching, guys. If you want to answer those questions, watch this video back and write the questions down, because I forgot to put them in the description box below. But yeah, if you do this tag, just let me know. I'll watch your video. Till the next one, guys. Stay safe, take care, enjoy your books, whatever they may be. And thanks again, Sci-Fi Bookery. Go check him out. He's got a bunch of channels too. I'll just tag his first one and you can find his rest from there. But yeah, he's really good bloke. Good channel, good sci-fi books. What more do you need?